One of the biggest games of E3 2019 this year was, of course, the Square Enix developed Marvel's Avengers game, which housed a bunch of really cool implications for the story, a really great story trailer itself, as well as actors to play the Avengers in the game, including Troy Baker, Nolan North, Laura Bailey, etc. Overall, it was a great showing, a great way to present the game, I feel, in my opinion. However, there were little bits and pieces of info throughout the entire showing that really do tie it back and could potentially lead to a connection between Spider-Man PS4, the Marvel exclusive that's on the PlayStation platform that was released last year. And so what's going on, guys? It is your boy TKD, want you to here, back again with another video, and today we're going to go over all the different strings that could potentially tell that Spider-Man PS4 could be connected to Marvel's Avengers, thus making a shared universe and possibly creating the first steps of the Marvel Games universe. Now, our first clue with this all begins as Spider-Man PS4. Of course, there was a mission of collectibles where you had to go around taking photos of different scenic views and scenic routes and scenic just buildings and stuff like that within the game of Spider-Man PS4. Now, you go to different places like the Techno Sanctorum, you go to different places just overall in the game. However, the most prominent one that you go to, one of them being the Wakandan Embassy, but the biggest one that you go to is the Avengers Tower. Now, when you take a picture of the Avengers Tower, Peter says an interesting line here that is very telling of where the Avengers are in that world at that time. So I'm gonna just play it right now and I'll come back in a moment.
Avengers Tower is so cool, but they're never around to use it. I think they're probably somewhere on the West Coast right now. Probably surfing or something.
So he says that they are somewhere in the West Coast, and so of course that should be ringing some bells already, because when we watch the Marvel's Avengers reveal, they of course are opening up their new type of base, HQ, on the West Coast side of the region of the United States, and they are in San Francisco. And so it is clear here that, I don't think it's a coincidence that, Peter in Spider-Man PS4 is saying that he hasn't seen the Avengers lately. He thinks they're in the West Coast, and we see them pick up in the West Coast in the Marvel Avengers game. So that is definitely the biggest one here that I feel like is definitely a really good point of contention, but there is more to the story. Now, for a brief moment in the trailer that they showed for the Avengers game, when there is a big battle on A-Day, where of course the Avengers are opening up their new HQ on the side of San Francisco on the west coast of the United States, everything goes wrong. There's a big altercation that happens, and what is interesting here is that there's a brief clip in the trailer where we actually see Taskmaster. We see him in the game, and he looks kind of like dark, and he has like a skull type of mask and a hood and everything, stuff like that, and he seems to be holding some sort of detonator to it. Now, of course, Taskmaster was also in Spider-Man PS4. There was a brief little side mission type of route that you could take with him, and you could do that whole thing. And so obviously here there are differences with this and everything, and there's even a quote by Taskmaster saying that he has seen the Avengers once or twice. I'll find the clip right now for that right now.
Oh yeah, I can also anticipate what you're gonna do.
Impressed?
I've got toe-to-toe with the Avengers.
So at least in the Spider-Man PS4 universe, that Taskmaster has seen and fought the Avengers at some point in time. And so who knows if, the Spider-Man PS4 version of Taskmaster takes place before the events of Marvel's Avengers or after. That's a whole debate that we may have later on in the video. But, there is the one thing that is drawing these apart is that, of course, the suits look drastically different in both iterations of the character. Now, in the Marvel's Avengers one, it does seem a little bit more relaxed, a little more laid back, a little bit more of like a special agent type of suit, as opposed to the more bulkier, more armored version in the Spider-Man PS4 Taskmaster suit. So maybe that can be an indication that perhaps the Marvel Avengers version of Taskmaster is one that's new, starting out. Maybe he doesn't have a need to like have a bulkier suit and everything, and then because of the events of A-Day and the Avengers game, maybe he gets a different, more urban, more better suit that he uses in Spider-Man PS4. Perhaps that could be why, but it is no coincidence, I think, that there are both characters of Taskmaster in both games, and perhaps that could be just a wantingness to use him again, perhaps. But I think that there could be something there that could connect the two in some sort of fashion. Now, another one here also is that when they were first revealing the game, they talk about the benefits that you will get with Marvel Avengers if you are playing on PS4. And so they say, a quote, to the tone of exclusive PS4 bonuses, which will be detailed at later dates, which is the more specific one that could be opened up to a bunch of other things. But then, of course, before that, they say that there's a beta. I'll play the clip right now.
We got you covered. And we're excited to be partnering with PlayStation to bring some awesome surprises to the PlayStation audience, including early beta access and unique benefits that we'll be revealing in the future.
And of course, while early access to the beta is a great thing to have, I'm definitely going to capitalize on that, definitely going to use that, of course. The way they verbalize exclusive PS4 bonuses, which will be detailed at a later date, seems a bit odd. Now, it just seems like they aren't just talking about, you know, what you would draw to a conclusion of being skins or different levels and stuff like that, which we've had with other different games on the PS4 where we have exclusive stuff to that game. I feel like there's a little bit more to it. Like, I feel like there's more to it, and because there's more to it, will be our next and final evidence of that we will look at, which is an interview with Andrea Renee. But I feel like there could be more that they're talking about other than just bonuses that we will talk about at a later date. You know, I feel like there could be more to it. And the last one here, of course, is Andrea Renee. She was interviewing the devs at Square Enix about the game, and she, of course, asked the question that we're all asking here on this video, and that is that if the Spider-Man PS4 universe is shared with the Marvel's Avengers universe, and she just says it straight up here. I will just play this clip and let you all hear it.
So you guys also announced that you're doing a partnership with PlayStation.
That is
Don't
true.
think that didn't slip by us out there watching.
PlayStation. Sony?
And
What?
so there was another Marvel PlayStation game that came out not that long ago that maybe some people out here played. I believe that was Marvel Spider-Man on PS4. So
Well-
we're gonna see some crossover content, Bill?
I could say this. Last time we were here a year ago discussing that certain character, the roof caught on fire. And if I was to comment on that character now, I think the roof would fall on my head. So I will say right now we're just focused on creating the best Avengers game.
Thought I was gonna get an exclusive, you guys. I was really hoping for it.
You gotta
Had to
try.
do my due diligence and ask. Bill.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
Okay.
We appreciate it.
So the interviewee definitely just addresses that, yes, whenever we bring up Spider-Man, it definitely does cause a lot of talk, a lot of ruckus, a lot of things happen in the community. And then he just says that, you know, they're going to focus on this game, focus on developing this game, and we will see, you know, that's just what he said. And so who knows really what that could mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that could be him dodging the question. I think he's dodging the question. Obviously in this thing he doesn't say yes or no, and I feel like maybe if it was no, he would have probably said no, but he definitely doesn't say no. So it could be a thing of, hey, he's trying to just hide it for now, we will reveal it later that they are both shared universe. But I just feel like overall, with the evidence at hand, I feel like it is pretty much inevitable that the Spider-Man PS4 universe and the Marvel's Avengers universe definitely do take place. And we have a bunch of, you know, different clues that there's even a sticky note in Peter's room that was something written by TS. I'll have it up here on the screen, but of course TS has to mean Tony Stark. There's no other way that means anybody else, really. So obviously the Avengers do exist in the Spider-Man PS4 universe. It's just a matter of, do they share the same universe, and are the Avengers that are in the Spider-Man PS4 game directly tie in and are the same characters as the Marvel Avengers game with Square Enix. Now, do I think necessarily that like this is a good idea? Do I think it's a good idea that they are trying to potentially build this Marvel games universe? I think it's a pretty good idea. I think it could get wishy-washy in terms of, obviously, you know, they are having two development studios making two different games, and we have never seen this before in the games industry. Like we have never seen games connect from different studios on a massive standpoint that they seem to be building here, right? So I think that if there's going to be any connection between all these games, I think it'll be very much loose connections, very much just, you know, things that like they don't really connect in terms of like plot, and they maybe just share characters, share universe, and that's pretty much it, and they stay as separated as they can because of the nature of making games. These games take 4 or 5 years to make, 3 years to make at most, I mean at least. And so they are definitely projects that are hard to kind of coordinate across studios and stuff like that. So I think that's where they can find difficulty in this, but I think if they pull it off, I think it could be really cool, and it could be added bonus. Like, it could just be a bonus, not really so much a main crucial part. So you don't have to play Spider-Man PS4 to be able to enjoy Marvel's Avengers. It'll just be a additive experience, like a additive nod. If you played those games, if you play both and you are connected, you will have an added better experience because of that. It won't detract if you don't play Spider-Man PS4 and play Avengers. That's how I think it'll go down. I think it'll be more of a very, very loose, connected but not inherently tied together where you have to play both to understand or get the most out of each other's game. But I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you guys down for the Marvel Games universe? Do you think it's a real thing? Let me know why not, perhaps. If you have that opinion, let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. And make sure also, while you are down there, to check out our description for our Twitter, our Discord, all the good stuff. Make sure to follow us on there. Make sure to also keep it locked on our channel for anything and all PlayStation. Tune in tomorrow for Road to Part 2, Episode 3. We have another podcast coming up about Road to Part 2, our weekly series involving The Last of Us. Make sure to check out that tomorrow. That'll be uploaded tomorrow on the channel. Thank you for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.